Hello, welcome everyone to our Q&A for Master the Heart Freedom Method, the 7-week video course to clear subconscious beliefs in every area of your life. I'm Ann Patricia with the Shift Network, and I'm honored to be your host as we explore the teachings of Dr. Lise Janelle and address questions about her upcoming course, Master the Heart Freedom Method, which begins on Thursday, November 14th at 12 noon Pacific. If you're unable to join us live, you can still participate with us in this course. I'll explain more about that later. But first, I'd like to welcome my guest. Dr. Lise Janelle, a heart-centered success coach, is founder of the Center for Heart Living, which is dedicated to empowering people by reconnecting them to their core values and putting them in action. Lise is a goal and result-oriented coach, and by working with the subconscious and conscious mind, her clients can move quickly to their desired outcome. Lise speaks openly about her practices and beliefs in her book, Conversations with the Heart, which reconnects people to their hearts so they can experience joy, love, and the feeling of true success. And now, join me in welcoming Lise. Thanks for being here, Lise.
Hello, and thank you for having me. It's so great to be here. This is so exciting for me. This has been in the making since 1989. Since 1989, I've been on a quest. And I wrote down a mission statement for my life that says, I'm going to help heal the hearts of millions of people through maximizing their life potential. And the Heart Freedom Method is an amazing tool to allow you to do just that. So quickly heal your heart, reconnect you with your core values, and become clear on what it is you want for your life so you can organize your time to make it happen.
Thank you so much. I'd love to have you join us and lead us actually in a practice. Would you be willing to do that today?
Yes, one of my favorite way of recentering and opening people's heart and reconnecting us with our true essence is a meditation I created. It's called the Heart Freedom Meditation. So if you would just close your eyes, put your feet down on the ground, make yourself comfortable, and take a deep breath in through your nose, through your heart. And your heart sits right above your diaphragm. And then take a deep breath in through your nose, through your heart for 3. And out through your nose, through your heart for 3. And again. And out. As you keep breathing in through your nose, through your heart, feel the love and gratitude you have for your physical heart. We don't often think about thanking our heart for beating for us without, us thinking it. So take a moment and keep breathing through your nose, through your heart. Become present with your beautiful heart and breathe in and thank it. As you keep breathing through your nose, through your heart, feel the love and gratitude you have for your family members, present and past families, parents, siblings, aunts, uncles, grandparents, nephew, nieces, cousin, your spouse, your own children, if you have them. Keep breathing through your nose, through your heart. Feel the love and gratitude you have for them, even the most challenging ones. Now feel the love and gratitude you have for your inner circle of friends, the people who feel like family. What they bring to your life. Now feel the love and gratitude you have for the people you can get in contact with at school or at work, your colleagues, teachers, employers, employees, clients. Breathe in and out through your nose, through your heart. Feel the goodwill you have towards humankind. Life would be empty without humans around the globe. Now feel the love and gratitude for how you have for the animal kingdom, for your pets, cats, your dogs, your hamsters, your turtles, your rabbits, for your horses, for the cows and the pigs and the ducks and the elephants and the whales and the insects and the birds and their beautiful songs. Now feel the love and gratitude you have for nature, for the rivers, the lakes, the oceans, for the mountains, the valleys, for the flowers, the forests, for the sound of the winds and the leaves of the tree. Now feel the love and gratitude you have for Mother Earth, Pachamama, that sustains all of us. Feel the love and gratitude you have for our ancestors and the generations to come. For the universe, for God. Now take a deep breath through your nose, through your heart, and feel all that love from God, the universe, our ancestors, the generations to come, Mother Earth, nature, animal kingdom, humankind, the people you touch their lives on a regular basis, your inner circle of friends and your family. Feel all that love coming back at you. Now, and now all of us are on a quest to live from the heart with wisdom. Can feel our heart like golden globes. We're resonating with each other, helping ourselves evolve, helping others, creating coherence between all of us. And now, and now we can open our eyes. And I know that if you are fully centered and in your heart right now, you feel safe. You feel like nothing is missing. You feel abundant. You feel beautiful. And that's the state we all have access to whenever we come from the heart. Like nothing has changed in your life right now. You're at the same place, sitting in the same place. But by changing the reactions, by changing your focus right now, you can experience true gratitude and love and a sense of true success just by reconnecting with the heart. So all the work that I do is aiming at doing that. I'm aiming at helping you experience the power of living from the heart. And we have two kinds of blocks that can block us from the heart. We have the conscious one, the ones we are aware of, the ones with the stories we are aware of. But then there's the subconscious ones. And you may not know this, but up to 90% of what you do is actually pre-programmed. And some of this programming works for you, and some of this programming works against you. So that's what the Heart Freedom Method is all about. It's about bringing consciousness to the subconscious mind, to popping the stories so you can dissolve any illusion that you're unworthy of love. And these illusions is what's blocking us from having the satisfaction, the success we all crave for and deserve.
Thank you for that, Lise. Well, we're going to spend the rest of our time together exploring your questions for Lise as we prepare for Master the Heart Freedom Method, which begins on Thursday, November 14th. Please go over to our website, heartfreedommethodcourse.com, heartfreedommethodcourse.com to learn more about this 7-week course, and there'll be a link to register there as well. Now let's get started. If you have a question for Lise, please type it in and I will be happy to read it out. So Lise, can you tell us what the heart has to do with clearing limiting belief?
So as human beings, we can live through our mind, through our emotion, which is our gut, or through our hearts. And when we are in the heart, the only thing that lives there is love, gratitude, inspiration, and wisdom. So for me, love is not an emotion, it's our essence. And when you are there, you're free. You're free to listen to your heart, and you're free to be able to take the actions to fulfill your heart. The Heart Freedom Method is designed to use your mind with wise principle to help you find a moment when a belief was stored in your subconscious mind that has been ruling you without you knowing it. And the only way I have found to fully eliminate a belief is actually by bringing gratitude into the moment when an emotion was created, a belief. And I use always my famous yin and yang. So when your subconscious mind has associated more pain than pleasure or more danger than safety to something you want, it will prevent you from moving forward. So let's say as a little kid, you were watching your parents and they were fighting and it's very scary. So now as a little kid, you think, I don't want that. I don't want to have a relationship like that. This is way too scary. And so we go through life having a belief that love is unsafe. And I'm passionate about really dissolving that thing. Because when I hear people say, like to be dating, but still too scared from it, it's like, love is safe. If it's not safe, it's not love. It's need. So by doing the Heart Freedom Method, what we do is we find the initial moment when a story was created. Then we go get the big picture of what was happening, and then we can bring gratitude to that moment to free the self. So gratitude is the key to entering the heart. It's the key to feeling truly successful.
Thank you. Julia says, hi, Lise. Thank you for the opportunity to ask a question. Is the transmutation practice result permanent in terms of the release or the block? Or does one have to do it for a few times to get the best results?
That's a really good question. That's something I'm really excited to answer because from my experience I've been doing this work since 1989. So my background is doing NET, neuro-emotional technique. And there's a whole body of studies and showing the efficacy of NET. But I needed to create a method that I could teach people who are not in the health industry and that it was easy to learn. And through doing muscle testing and we even have CAT MRI of the brain before and after a session, and it shows that it clears up. So when you do the Heart Freedom Method, it clears it. You do it once and that's it. You don't have to keep doing it over and over again when you're doing something. When you find an emotion, you dissolve it through gratitude, it's gone. So the key when you do the Heart Freedom Method is you must get to gratitude. If you're not at gratitude, you're not finished yet. Once you have gratitude, once you feel your heart open, you know that you are now free. Anything you don't have gratitude for gets you stuck. Anything you don't have gratitude for gets you stuck. But the thing is, often we don't know what we don't have gratitude for. Like this morning, I was working with this woman. It's a really cool story. She was in a health food store. Someone was speaking about me, and she just heard, and she decided to contact me. She's been on the spiritual path for many years, and she says it's amazing already. She's seen me like 3 times, and how her whole core is changing, her business is changing, and things are happening. She says it's incredible. And she says, I really see how the importance of connecting with the heart. She says, you would have told me a year ago that I would be grateful for my mother. And she's leaving tonight for France. Her mother is there. And she says, I feel so much better. So no matter what's ever happened, no matter the intensity of a trauma that's happened to us, if we are wise, equal and opposite to the challenge, because it's going to be a benefit. So by finding the benefits into the challenge, we can be truly grateful for whatever happened and get unstuck. And once you are grateful, you're done. Like, it's not there anymore. Someone could come and, do something again now that will be very intense. Like if I slapped you in the face, maybe something would happen. You might store a new emotion. But when you do the work once, it's gone.
Thanks. We're going over to a question from our webcast. Someone sent in. Lise, I heard your introductory interview where you did a sample session. If I take the course, will I learn to do the method on myself or on others?
Okay, so that's the beauty of doing the heart freedom methods. You can do it by yourself. You just follow the steps. You can just read them. You follow, on the handout, you follow, and you can do it by yourself. What's really cool is when you have someone asking you the questions as well. So someone can be there asking you the questions, guiding you. And you can also use it, with your kids. It's an amazing tool to use with your kids, with your girlfriends, with your family members. The one thing that I ask is that if you intend to do this professionally, you must get certified, because I want to make sure that when this work goes into the world, that people are doing it right. But otherwise, this work, you can do it alone if you choose to. So it's portable wherever you are. You're in the middle of very intense frustration. So you can sit there and figure out like what's really going on and center yourself and get your power back.
Thanks for sharing that, because we did have a couple questions from coaches that work with clients that were asking about using this method on others. So thank you for saying that, Lise. Okay, we're over to this one. I grew up hearing my mother say she did not want me from the moment of being conceived till my 20s when she passed away. There was no love lost between us. I am now in my 60s. My question is, can I be helped through your course?
Yes, I hear these stories all the time. And I know it's painful to have an emotional parent that says these things, but I can guarantee you, if you're alive, you had been loved. Maybe not exactly the way you wanted to be loved, but anybody who's had a child had been loved. And the way to look at this, and I've had people coming to see me, like on the weekend, we were doing the certification program for people exactly who want to do this professionally. And amazing people, I love them. And they all speak about how much their life has change and transform because of this. They can't imagine not having this method to live through. And one of the women, her father incested her. So, we all have challenges. Some of us, our parents were alcoholics and were scary. Some of us, our parents beat us up. Some of us, our parents were fighting all the time. Some of us, the parent had to move away. Each and every one of us has challenges. So that's the key, is each and every one of us has been supported and has been challenged. And I've asked this question to thousands of people when I speak in front of groups. Please raise your hand if you've never had huge challenges. And guess what? So far, and thousands of people, only one very young woman raised her hand and she said, I'm young, I haven't faced huge challenges yet, and I'm scared because I know that when it happens, I'm going to be in trouble. Because she's not ready. So yes, definitely you can heal your heart, because nobody escapes having huge challenges. And the way your challenge came, it came from a mother who had her own emotional disability. Your mother was very, very unhappy. To say things like this, she had to be very, very unhappy. She had to be hurt. She had to feel unloved. And that's why it's our responsibility to heal our hearts so that we don't carry this to other generation, to the people around us. Because anytime we shut down our heart, every time we feel unworthy of love, we become emotional, we're not in our hearts, we overcompensate, we do all kinds of things that cause problems in our lives and the lives of others. So it's our responsibility to take the time to heal the story. Because it's not true that you are unworthy of love. It's like when a baby born, is the baby worthy of love? When a toddler in a terrible twos, is that worthy of love? Is a 6-year-old worthy of love? A 10-year-old, a 20-year-old, a 30, a 40-year-old? At what point do we stop being worthy of love? We stop being worthy of love when we decided to. And so the good news is, if you decided that you were unworthy of love, you can actually, hopefully, want to change that. What would you tell your best friend if she had grown up with a mother? You love your girlfriend, she's nice, she's kind, and you love her. And if she told you that her mom her whole life told her that she was, she didn't want to have her, she didn't like her, or whatever. As the girlfriend, you would go, wow, like, I know you're worthy of love. Something must have been wrong with your mother. So something happened with your mother. So what we need to do then is we need to go and find gratitude, because that was a big, challenge. But if you are here and you're alive, you had to have been loved. So if it was not your mother who was the nurturing force, who was the nurturing force in your life? And I said this in the session, but this is the perfect metaphor, is that the butterfly coming out of the cocoon, it's a huge struggle. It takes hours and hours and hours. So the scientist, to be nice to the butterfly, cuts the cocoon open. But because he does that, the butterfly has nothing to struggle against, so the wings are weak, it can never fly, and it dies like that. So what we have to do as human beings is we have to open ourselves up and see the big picture. How did I benefit from feeling that my mother didn't want me? Well, maybe you created a stronger bond with your father, or maybe with your siblings. Maybe you learned not to rely on her and you had to go within yourself to, find the comfort that you had. This allowed you to be independent, to travel, to do many things. Yes, there were drawbacks, but there were equal and opposite benefits. And now the only thing you need to do to free yourself from the pain that came from that and be able to benefit from the blessings that came as a result is to heal the illusion that something was wrong with you for this to happen. And I find when I work with people, I call them nodes. So a node is a very intense situation in our lives. And a node we can find 30, 40, 50 different beliefs. It will connect to our finances, it will connect to our health, it will connect to our career, to our relationship, to everything. Everything will be connected to that node. But these nodes were necessary for you because they were the driver that you needed to push you while you were in the unconscious phase of spiritual human development. In the olden days, if you remember, there were spaceships, and there would be long rockets with a little capsule at the top. So the first fuel stage would push the rocket into the stratosphere and would disconnect. Then the second fuel stage would disconnect. And then the capsule was free to go into the stratosphere. So these nodes that I talk about, they're the catalyst. They push us and they drive us to do things we would not do otherwise. And then they help us unfold, our interests, our personality, help us drive who we are. But if you don't disconnect from the driver, the whole thing coming back and crash down on planet Earth. So what we need to do is while we're unconscious, we're driven. When we were doing the heart freedom meditation before, if you were really in your heart, you sit there and you're Buddha-like and you have no desire. So if you had billions of people on planet Earth, remember who they are, the essence of love, nothing would happen. So we have to forget. We have to forget our divine nature. And that is one of the biggest challenges we face, because when we are born, right from the get-go, love has to come from the outside. So if the love on the outside responds the way we want, we feel great, I'm queen of the world, king of the world, I'm amazing. But if the world around you does not respond to you the way you want it, you start creating stories about yourself when it has nothing to do with you. It's not because something was wrong with you that your mother was depressed or angry or hurt or whatever was her story to not be able to connect with her heart. So for sure, you're 60 years old, you must heal this. This is my visual again for success. So to be successful in life, you need the yin principle, which is this one, the female principle of listening, and then the male principle of acting. So your heart wants you to know two things. First, you're worthy of love. And second, it wants you to admit your dreams and aspirations. Once you become clear on that, then it's about organizing your time to making these things happen. So if you have a story in your life where you felt, my parents did not love me, or I was abandoned, or I was not important, my siblings had more importance than me, it's your duty to heal your heart, to let go of any illusion that you're unworthy of love. One day I had a woman come to see me. She says, I'm 40 years old. She sits in front of me. She says, I'm 40 years old. I'm full of anxiety. I can't sleep at night, and I don't know what to do with my life. She says, I grew up in a house where my mom and my dad loved me. My grandpa and grandma lived in a house and loved me. My aunts and uncle lived next door and loved me. And I'm still not happy, and I don't know what to do with my life. So we have the illusion that if life had been exactly as we wanted it, our life would have been perfect. Well, it would have just been different. It would have just brought a different set of pain and pleasure. Each and every one of us has a set of pain and pleasure, has a set of support and challenge. And the more you can gain wisdom by transcending the paradox. Einstein says you can't solve a paradox at the level the paradox was created. So you have to transcend it. When you're in the paradox, you go, this is good, this is bad, this is good, this is bad. When you transcend the paradox, you can see that for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. That whatever was too supportive actually weakened you, and whatever was challenging you was actually making you stronger. So when you can see the big picture, you can heal your heart. So for sure, you can heal your heart. You're never too old to heal your heart. My mom, I worked with her, and she was 79 years old, and I got her to heal some of the things that were, hurting her. So I can guarantee you, if you want to, if you have the desire, and I hope you love yourself enough to let go of any illusion that you're unworthy of love, because someone on the outside had a challenge.
Thanks, Lise. Sally over on Facebook says, I'm wondering how the YinYang symbol relates to the heart freedom method.
So I use the yin and yang all the time because it's easy to see gratitude. When I was 28 years old, my father was diagnosed with terminal cancer. He was given 9 months to live. That was 3 weeks before my sister's wedding. A week after my sister's wedding, my 21-year-old brother died in a car accident. And then my 8-year relationship to the man I thought I was going to marry ended. And it was like, ow, 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 ow. So it was so painful that it sent me on a quest to understand, what do I do when challenges happen in my life so I don't get flat like a pancake? Because it's not if a challenge is going to happen, it's when it happens. How do I cope with it? For example, one of my very good friend right now, he died about 4 weeks ago, suddenly, heart attack, 57 years old, an athlete, was playing water polo, heart attack, underwater. And my girlfriend, his wife, huge challenge. But she's seeing how many people love her, like all the people that came and rallied and took over the love that was, taken away by the husband. She's now getting all that love from multiple different sources. So that's why I use the yin and the yang all the time, because as I said, the only way you can free your heart is by finding gratitude, even for the most challenging moment of your life.
Okay. Can you explain how I would choose an area of my life that feels stuck? Does it matter how general or broad it is? For example, could I work with the issue, I care too much about hurting people's feelings, or is that too specific? Or would it have to be something more general, like I feel stuck in my relationship with friends or not allowing people to get close to me?
No, the more specific you are, the better, the easier it is for you to find a moment when an emotion got stored in your physiology. So you can use the heart freedom method. Let's say you're feeling stuck in your relationship. You just keep attracting over and over and over again the same type of person or emotionally unavailable. So doing the heart freedom method, we can find the actual moment when you got the illusion that being in a relationship was more dangerous than safe. Because I can guarantee you, if you keep attracting someone who's emotionally available all the time, it's because you are emotionally available. At some level, you know this subconsciously, and that's why you're comfortable with that person. Most people, from working with thousands of people, I say that most people have some fear connected to loving, just because of the things that they experienced as a child. And the difference of us when we're adult and when we're a child is that as a child, your life depends on the adults to take care of you. So it's literally a matter of life and death. What we associate with love, with nurturing, if it's manipulation and, dissolving the self to please another human being, and all these things we can create in the back of our mind, unless you take the time to find the story and dissolve it, they keep on driving you without you even knowing it. And the good news is once you find it, you're free. It's so cool. It's like each time you do the heart freedom method, just free yourself. And I believe it's part of the path to enlightenment, because enlightenment means you gain more light. And you can see it in the face of people who do this work. The more they do the work, the more they feel worthy of love, the more they listen to their heart and what they want. So then they end up organizing their time around their passion and what they love doing, which then increases their gratitude. And you can see it. It's actually the best beauty treatment you can have. People who live from the heart, they exude this energy. It slows down the aging process. It makes you feel more beautiful. It makes you feel attractive, and people comment on you. Because when you live from the heart, you are reorganizing all the cells of your body, and you are becoming coherent. Anita Moorjani, who was dying from cancer, has written a book called Dying to Be Me. And she realized as she was passing on to the other side that the reason she was dying was because she had not loved herself, and that if she chose to come back and learn to love herself, she would be okay. And she decided to. And within a few days, all the huge tumors that were covering her were gone, and she didn't die. So I know that doing this work is the path to letting go of anything. So you can use, let's say you're in a relationship and you're really upset at your partner, and your partner, what he or she did, was not a big deal, but you're so upset inside. You can use the heart freedom method and just check, what am I feeling? And find a moment when the story got stored in your physiology. And then, you go work hard and you seem to never have money in the bank. So now we can find out, like, I'm okay saving money. I can spend my money wisely. I'm really willing and able to make more money, have more income. I can be a good person and have money. So we can use this for our health. We can use it for finances, for our career, having a promotion. The number of women I've worked with who subconsciously believe that if they are successful in career, they won't be loved, will sacrifice their career. Once I had a chiropractor come to see me, and because she wanted help with her practice, and when she talked with me, she realized, if I work with her, I could start to be making more money, I could be more successful, have more patients. She asked me, she says, let me ask you this question. Do you think that my husband might feel threatened if, I become more successful in my practice? And I go, that's an honest question. Yeah, the answer is yes, I've seen it. She goes, I'm not doing it then. And she just got up and left. Many of us have patterns ruling us, and we're not even aware that they are there. We think we're ruling the show, but we're not. Scientists believe that up to 90 to 95% of what we do is actually pre-programmed. So that's the key. The heart freedom method will allow you to find a moment where the story got stored inside of you that's preventing you from, transforming your life. This morning, one of my clients came to see me 2 weeks ago, and we were working. She has a chocolate addiction, and she couldn't stop herself from eating chocolate. And so when I did the work, I actually went back to her brother. Her brother died when she was 17 years old. And her and her brother, they used to eat chocolate together all the time. So she realized that she had associated eating chocolate with bringing her brother into her life and feeling her brother with her. The association was that. So when we found this, and I found a different way for her to feel connected with her brother. She came back today and she goes, I haven't wanted to have chocolate at all. So just from doing, one thing sometimes is all that you need. Today she says, okay, now I need to work on drinking and why I like to drink alcohol so much. Because she was going back to France and she didn't want to drink too much wine while she was with her mother. So you can use this method for anything. It's a fascinating way of discovering what's truly driving you. And it's not because you lack willpower that you end up doing these things that you know are not good for you. It's because subconsciously for you, it's safer to do them than not do them.
All right. If you're just joining us, we're here with Lise Janelle, learning about her course, Master the Heart Freedom Method, which begins on Thursday, November the 14th. So please log on to heartfreedommethodcourse.com, and you'll see all the details of this 7-week course and also a link to register at the bottom. All right. We're going to go over to this question from Amy. What if I don't know the specific event that is causing my life challenge? Can you help explain how to choose the event from childhood and what happens if you just don't know what it is? What if that event isn't accessible to my memory? For instance, if I blocked it out since it was a traumatic experience.
All right. So the idea is that you don't actually try to consciously remember the moment when something was stored in your physiology. We actually use your body to access your subconscious mind to then pop the memory back to your consciousness. For example, with me, the first time I did this work, I tested myself on I want to be successful. And lo and behold, I was not. And that's crazy. Like, who does not want to be successful? That doesn't make sense. But doing the method, what ended up happening, I went back to being 5 years old. And then a memory popped. Like 5 years old, there's, millions of bits of data of information that happened like this. But when we use the body as an entry point to access the subconscious mind, then everything has been recorded on our subconscious mind. And to me, the memory just popped right up. And the memory was, I'm 5 years old. My little sister is 3.5. We're coloring in our coloring books. And because I'm older, I'm done before her. And so I go show it to my mother, and my mother says, well done, Lise, you colored between the lines. It's beautiful. Well, my little sister, she's 3.5. She can color between the lines. So she ran away crying. So now I'm standing there going, wow, this is bad. When I'm successful, I hurt other people's feelings. And worse, I end up alone. And if I was in my 30s when I found that out. And if I'm honest with myself, I realized up to that point, not consciously, but subconsciously, I was always trying to keep myself just a little bit smaller so I wouldn't be too much, so that I wouldn't be upsetting other people. And from working with enough people, I know that this often is the case with older siblings to younger siblings, and it's even more challenging if the younger sibling is more capable than the older sibling. So a sibling can end up feeling like they're a source of sorrow, they're a source of angst for another being, so they don't love being who they are, and that's very dangerous for your health. So most people remember. If you really want to find the answer and you go through the Heart Freedom Method and you fully connected when we're doing the exercise, the memory is just going to pop. It is truly fascinating. The moment pops and you go, I remember, this is what happened. And now we can shine the light, because what ended up happening when I shined the light on this is, so what the truth was, number one, the first truth in the situation with my sister was, I'm worthy of love. It's not because something is wrong with me that my sister ran away crying. It's just she's younger, she's putting pressure on herself, and it's not because something was wrong with me that this was happening. So I'm worthy of love no matter whether my sister was upset or not. The second part of it, what it made me do is it made me go more inside and made me humble and made me observe. And I think it's protected me so that I could do this work and be patient And I've been chipping at this method, the Heart Freedom Method. It's been in the creation since 1989, so 30 years in the making. So I could have enough wisdom to be able to bring this method into the world. I'm writing a book right now with Jack Canfield, because Jack has been in the transformational field of the self-development for the last 50 years. And he says that the Heart Freedom Method was the missing link he had been looking for. So with Jack and his reach and this method, we can have a huge impact in the world. I don't think I would have been ready if I had been cocky, thinking I know everything. It would not have worked. So when you go look at the big picture, you can see the beauty. And what ends up happening is my sister is actually the very creative one. She can do watercolors and all kinds of great things. And I didn't pursue that route. I went into the intellectual route instead.
All right, we're going over to this one. When you talk about aligning your life's work with your soul's purpose, how do we distinguish between what we are good at or how we can be of service versus what feels in alignment with our souls? And what if these pull us in different directions?
All right, so usually what's our life's purpose is you just know that you know that you know that you should be doing this. For me, I just know that I know that I'm supposed to be doing this. And it's not elation, it's not depression, it's just a solid knowing. Sometimes we know what we want to be doing, but we're not doing it because we're afraid of leaving the safety that we want. And that was my case for many years. I was a chiropractor for 22 years. And in 1989, I wrote down a mission statement for my life. And as I said, part of it is that I'm going to help heal the hearts of millions of people through maximizing their life potential. But I didn't stop being a chiropractor until 2004. So from 1989 to 2004, I was building my confidence. I was getting myself to be more organized. I was taking courses. I was teaching courses. And I was organizing my finances so that finally in 2003, I'd be standing behind my patients and all of a sudden I'd be crying. And I took my girlfriend out for her birthday, and right in the middle of her birthday dinner, I started crying. And I realized, I need to stop. I need to know what's really going on. So I took 3 months off, and I realized that I had been, in a golden cage because I loved my patients. They loved me. I worked 25 hours a week. I took 10, 12 weeks off a year. I made really good money. I was top 10% earners, chiropractors in Canada. I was having a grand old time doing what I was doing, but my heart was yearning for something else. So I was a really good chiropractor. So yeah, I was good at that. But when there's a calling inside of you, it's about organizing what you're doing, your career, your life's mission together so you can feel in alignment, so you can feel the power of living from the heart. It's hard to explain if you haven't experienced it, but there are different tricks to help you connect with your heart. And one book I highly recommend is from my friend Janet Atwood and her husband Chris Atwood, and they've written a book called The Passion Test. It's a great book. And when you do this kind of work, you end up really knowing, okay, there's my infatuation, there's what's safe for me, and there's what my heart is really calling me to do.
Well, we have some time for a few more questions, but before we take those, I want to give you some details about Master the Heart Freedom Method. So this is going to be a transformative 7 weeks with Lise, as you can probably tell, where you'll learn heart-generated practices to transmute your limiting beliefs at a cellular level. The 7-week course takes place on Thursdays at noon Pacific, starting November the 14th. And note that we will be skipping the weeks of Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's holidays. Now, if for any reason you're unable to join us live, you won't miss the teachings. You receive an audio and video replay, transcripts, and any handouts to our course homepage, which is like a virtual classroom for you. Also, I'd like to remind you that we offer a no-risk money-back guarantee on all of our courses, giving a full 2 weeks just to make sure that you absolutely love it. So the deadline for that is December the 5th. As an added option, all participants are welcome and encouraged to connect over on a private course Facebook community group to stay connected with one another and discuss the teachings. And everyone who registers receives the Master the Heart Freedom Method bonus collection. And this includes a few bonuses. How to avoid another painful romantic relationship. This is a PDF by Lise. Also, the Heart Freedom Meditation, which is an audio meditation from Lise, and her Best Friend Journal. This is a PDF from Lise. And when you register by midnight Pacific, November the 2nd, you will receive this additional bonus, The Heart of Leadership. This is an audio dialogue with Jack Canfield, Deborah Rosman, and Ronaldo Bordoco. So we're going over now for a question. Let's see. We have one from Roxanne. Roxanne says, I am an empath and I get lost in relationships. How can I not get so involved and stand in my own energy?
That's a very good question. And I find that when we have a tendency to lose ourselves in other people, I'm an empath too. But it often will come because there's a part of us that's so afraid of losing love that as soon as we feel that the person is disconnecting, we just go into the other person, try to make it better for them and just, hang on for dear life with them. So the key for everything, all my work, is to go back and learn to love who we are. This is where the work starts. I have tested thousands of people. I can guarantee you the statement, I love myself, most people are not congruent with that. I love myself. I'm worthy of love. I can trust love. I can receive love. I'm willing to give love. All of these statements, once you start cleaning them out, you're going to find the illusions that you've had about your worthiness of love that have made you afraid of having someone leave you, abandon you, which then makes you want to cling on to them and lose yourself into them to make sure they don't leave you. So at the core of this challenge, I find that it's usually about really knowing that you're worthy of love. Once you really own it, then you can do this because this is you, this is your partner. And when you lose yourself into another being, this is what happens. You can see that one circle is redundant. To be safe in a relationship, it needs to be intersecting. So to have this is one person is in charge of, making themselves happy. The other person is in charge of making themselves happy. And then you share a bond together. I can guarantee you that two miserable people together won't have a good romantic relationship. Impossible. So if you want to have a great romantic relationship, first do your inner work so you feel happy about who you are. And then find a partner who's happy. If you want to have drama and you want to have heartaches, choose a partner who's full of anxiety, addictions and problems and highs and lows, because you want to rescue them so that you feel like you're going to be safe because they won't want to leave you. But that's a life ridden with a lot of challenges. If you love who you are, you're going to choose someone who's happy, who can see who you are, and you are fulfilling your own life, being clear about what you want, organizing your life so that you can then share together something that's beautiful and healthy.
Thanks, Lise. We're going over to a question from Karina. She sent it in through our webcast. You mentioned that this course will provide mastery of the Heart Freedom Method. What do you mean by mastery?
Well, mastery, it's been said it takes 10,000 hours to be masterful at something. So, you're not going to have 10,000 hours, but if you just read the method, it's easy. It's just 10 steps. Anybody can do the 10 steps. But if you want to have really good transformation, you need to understand more what it's all about. So we need to allow you to use it in different areas of life. So that's why the course is divided. Like some of it's going to be about relationships. Some of it is going to be connected to your own self-worth, your spirituality. Some of it is going to be connected with your finances. So we're going to use the method and we're going to put you in dyads if you want. If you don't want to do it, you don't have to. You'll be able to practice. You'll be able to practice, and then you'll be able to come back and ask questions so that we can move you forward, so you can really understand how to do this. It's easy. It's just 10 questions, but it's 10 powerful questions that you need to practice. It's like, okay, driving a car is not complicated. Most of us have sat beside, when you're a kid, you watch your parents driving, but watching someone doing it versus you driving yourself, after a few hours of doing it, you feel a lot more comfortable behind the wheel, and it's a lot safer for everyone. It is the same thing with the Heart Freedom Method.
So Raymond shares, what if the blockages block me from doing your program? It's like a miracle pill is found for cancer, but the patient's body vomits out the tablet.
That's such a good question, Raymond. So then what I would do with you is I would check myself, and I'm okay letting go of my blocks. And even though you're blocked because of it, often that's the crux. You would go, okay, I'm ready, willing, and able to let go of my blocks. And so we scan your body with I'm ready, see if it's clear. Then if it's clear, that's not one. I'm willing to be clear of my blocks. And then you find a sensation in your body. Then that's how we would start to do the process with you. So we would find, when was the first time you got the illusion that letting go of your blocks could be dangerous for you? And, clear it. And now, voila, you can free yourself and start the journey. I love doing this with men, because often men are more cerebral and they have a harder time feeling their emotions. But in my experience, cerebral people are actually very emotional people. But they were told as little kids that you're not allowed to, you should not cry because big boys don't cry, And the little boy is feeling all these emotions and goes, I'm feeling all these emotions. I don't know how to deal with them, so I'll just put a lid on them. And a lot of men are so afraid of opening that Pandora's box, because what if I open it and then I feel all these things and I cannot do anything about it? Well, actually, when you start using the Heart Freedom Method, you have a tool, and one pops up, you dissolve it, you go, that feels better. And then you face something else, one pops up. And now, because men are often, what I find, and I'm going to make a sexist comment, but I'm a woman, so I have the right to make it that, is that often women were really good, and I'm using the yin because this is a principle of listening, which is the female principle, is that the yin is about listening. So women were often really good at knowing what we want, but we don't have the yang activated. We're not able to take action. So when I work with women, the blocks that I have to work on often is about getting a woman to unleash her male principle so she can take actions to give herself what she wants. And when I work with men, it's the opposite. They don't really know what they want because they don't allow themselves to feel. Their head knows something, their guys tell them what to do, but they haven't made the time to connect with their heart, but they're really good at taking actions. So when you get a man to actually start connecting with the heart, and they know what they want, and they know they have tools to help them, then they engage the male principle, and miracles happen. The only difference between someone who lives an ordinary life and an extraordinary life is their ability to take actions. So taking actions, right now you're listening to this, you go, oh, this sounds good. So I can guarantee you, if you use this method and you do the work, your life will transform itself. And it's funny because I'm part of the Transformational Leadership Council, which is, where the movie The Secret was created. And I taught them what I call the true law of attraction. And this is what the true law of attraction is. Stay in your comfort zone. Think, oh, this is a good idea. I'll do it another time, maybe next year. And you just, stay in your comfort zone. What happens? You attract challenges. You feel unhappy. Or you challenge yourself right now. You do the thing that's challenging. It's like, I'm going to spend some money. I'm going to have to organize my time. I'm going to have to do the work. But if you do this, then you attract happiness and fulfillment. So you will have more pleasure than pain in life. The only thing you can do is choose which form you want it to come in your life. Sign up for this session, do the work, and watch the miracles happen. Or stay in your comfort zone and watch the baseball bat come your way. You will not escape support and challenge. So I highly recommend, if you close your eyes right now and you feel where your life is at, and it continues on this path, 10 years from now, are you going to be happy? Or are you going to feel more depressed? Or imagine that now you know something in your heart that your heart really desperately wants you to do, and you go on that path, and 10 years from now, where you are, which one do you pick? Do you challenge yourself into following your heart and giving it what it wants? Or do you try to wait for Santa Claus to give it to you? Because that's what I've been a coach long enough, and I realize there's a part of us that thinks, if I'm a good girl, I'm a good boy, good things will happen to me. If I'm a bad girl, a bad boy, bad things happen to me. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with, am I going to be conscious enough to listen to my heart? To listen to my heart and do what my heart wants me to do? That's what you have to do. It's like, I'm going to use a strong word, but I want to use it to shock you. It's like, we cannot be hypocrites and wait for someone on the outside, our mates, our mom, our dad, or whoever, society, to give us something that we're not willing to take the time to do for ourselves. It's super important for us to commit to our transformation, because it's not going to happen from the outside. Santa Claus is not going to bring you, these things that you're craving, because even if someone came and brought you all the things, you wouldn't be happy, because happiness comes from connecting with your heart, from becoming clear, from going through the journey, finding gratitude. That's what's going to make you happy.
Thanks, Lise. We're going to a follow-up question from Sally over on Facebook. She says, thank you for explaining the yin-yang aspect of the Heart Freedom Method. As a follow-up curiosity, I'm wondering if when we are in the mind, we split experiences into good, bad, dark, light. But when we experience them in the heart, we experience the wholeness of all experience and no longer experience them within duality.
Well said. Exactly. That's exactly what happens. When you're in the heart, like me, I told you about my father diagnosis, my brother dying, and it was challenging. But without it, right now, I wouldn't live the amazing life that I live, and I wouldn't be sitting in front of you, sharing what I've learned. So was it a good thing that happened to me or a bad thing, or was it neither and both? When you're in gratitude, the duality doesn't matter. When you're in gratitude, the only thing you sense is love, gratitude, inspiration, and wisdom. And the more gratitude you have, the easier it is to connect with your heart. And when you connect with your heart, it's easier to have inspiration that guides you as to what's your why? Why are you here? What are you supposed to be becoming? So it's all connected together.
Mm-hmm. All right, we have time for one more question. So can you work backwards from a traumatic event and unlock the subconscious beliefs that stem from that event? If I have a specific traumatic event in my past that I think caused some unconscious patterning and beliefs, can I work with that event if I'm not sure how exactly it's keeping me blocked in the present?
Yeah, you could take the moment, and often it's even connected to something else that happened before. So we can take that moment and just go fully into it. But you don't have to worry about not being able to find the moment when something happens, because just like when I said, I want to be successful, I had no idea it was going to bring me back to when I was 5 years old, coloring my coloring book. No idea. So you don't have to worry. The best way I find to work through with the Heart Freedom Method is there are 3 clues you have a block. The first clue is you know what needs to be done, but you're not doing it. The famous procrastination. The second one is you know what needs to be done, you're doing it, but it feels like drudgery. The third one is you keep doing everything right, but get the opposite results to what you want. So you scan your life, social, mental, physical, career, financial, familial, spiritual, and your environment. And you look at what's happening over and over again. And then you go, all right, there's a clue in there that this, I have a belief on that. And through doing the method, it will bring you back to the initial moment. But yes, you could take the initial moment when something happened, because even though you may think it's the initial one, sometimes there's something even.
Thanks so much, Lise. It's been a great hour. It went by really quickly. And I want to thank everyone for being with us. And for those of you that sent in such thoughtful questions, we always appreciate that. Master the Heart Freedom Method begins on Thursday, November the 14th. And again, we urge you to go over and visit the page, heartfreedommethodcourse.com. You'll be able to check out all the modules and register. And for those of you that really want to join us, we have a little added bonus for you. If you register by November 2nd, midnight Pacific, you'll receive our special bonus, The Heart of Leadership. It's an audio dialogue. All right, Lise, I'm passing it over to you for final words to our listeners.
Well, I really, really hope that you give yourself the gift of living from your heart, that you give yourself the gift of letting go of any of the beliefs that stands in the way of you expressing your full life, because I believe that the best way to be loving of ourselves, others, and God is by unfolding our highest human spiritual potential, by taking the time to really get to know who we are and letting go of the blocks and bring our energy in the world. This is how we can transform the world, because I can guarantee you that people are happy and grateful, don't want to war, they are not selfish, they care about the environment, and that more of us that can do this work, that can start living from the heart, we can transform what's happening, we can change the destiny of the world. So join us, we'll have fun together, transforming our inner world that will be reflected in the outer world.
Thank you, Lise. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. And on behalf of all of us here at the Shift Network, I wish you well. And I look forward to having you on this course or on one in the future. Be well.